Welcome to another session with the Technologist. Here with you to talk about TCAPS communication protocols. The expectations in TCAPS for daily communications include that TCAPS employees will utilize and monitor their email accounts at least twice per workday or check for information posted in common areas. All TCAPS employees are responsible for reading, understanding, and taking the appropriate action on the information communicated via Gmail, email, or posted in common areas. Our first specific strategy has to do with email protocol, using read, respond, and act. If your message is intended to be one way and you just need the receiver to read the information, use read as the first word in your subject line. You're telling your audience of that email that you expect them to read and understand the information. If you need a response to your message, use the subject line prefix respond. The audience of an email with this subject line is expected to respond to the original message. And if you need an action completed, you expect your audience to act on the information or to do something, use the subject line prefix act. The audience of an email with this subject line will be expected to perform the requested action. In addition to using read, respond, and act in the subject line of your email, it's important also to use objective, expectation, and audience in the body. After the label objective, summarize the purpose of your communication. After the label expectation, indicate the specific action you have requested of those who are receiving the message. And because we use our blind carbon copy, or BCC, as a way to distribute the message to large groups, it's important to indicate your audience. With whom have you shared this message? Without indicating an audience, someone who receives the message might forward it on to someone else who already received it, but the original person wasn't aware of the audience for whom the message was intended. In terms of communication, there are several agreed-upon norms that define our professionalism. Make sure that you proofread your message, both for clarity and mechanics, before sending it. Tone matters. In order to prevent a misunderstanding, avoid humor, sarcasm, or other tones that don't come across well in writing. Tidy up your message by removing any extraneous or unnecessary elements from the message so as not to clutter your message with, again, unnecessary information. When responding to messages, keep it cool. Make sure that your emotions are not running high when you respond. If necessary, step away and respond with information, not emotion. Please remember that most educator emails are subject to the Freedom of Information Act and can be requested by the media, parent groups, and so on. Another important consideration is being aware when you are emailing large groups. Instead of using the to address line, get used to using the BCC address line when emailing groups of people. This will send a blind carbon copy to each member of the group and will prevent unnecessary messages that sometimes happen when users reply all to the group that's mentioned in the to address line. In order to send a message to a group, click on BCC in the upper right corner of your message box. Another useful hint is to use subgroups. Create a distribution group to target your emails to specific groups of people, and make sure you use BCC when sending to those groups. You might, for example, create a distribution group just for physical education teachers, or only for a group of students that you advise after school. When you receive a message where all recipients are in the to line, be careful of using reply all. That will send a message to each and every person in that address line. One of the benefits of using the BCC line is that even if you use reply all, it'll only go to the original sender because all of those carbon copies are hidden. If you need to forward a message to a subgroup within that larger group, use the forward command and enter the names of the group members that you need the message delivered to. Avoid sending unnecessary emails like thank you or sounds good. It's polite and we want to show people that we're grateful, but especially if you're hitting reply all on a large group, everyone's going to get the same message and it's just unnecessary. Some final practical tips to make sure that we're working with efficiency. Use the vacation responder in your settings to automatically let others know when you're not available. You can set this for summer break, for conferences, for times when you know you will not be available. Here's an example of the vacation responder set to begin on June 9th and expire on August 31st. Make sure that once you've set up your parameters and included your message, you click Save Changes at the bottom of the page. Use a clear subject in order to motivate the attention of your users and to motivate responses. Use this in addition to read, respond, and act. As a last step in the email creation process, address your email to the users for whom the message is intended. Message senders can avoid accidentally sending an incomplete or poorly worded message by addressing the email last. Thank you for paying attention to these TCAPS communication protocols. For more information, see the TCAPS Help Guide or contact one of your educational technology coaches.